Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's your boy Ju. Today we will be working on the Nismo 350Z, and by the title and thumbnail you guys already know that we're converting the car to E85. This has been something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. There's a lot of benefits of running E85, not necessarily being NA, naturally aspirated that is, but once you are turbo you have a lot of big benefits. And as you guys know, I did buy a single turbo kit for this car and we will be putting that here on shortly, but for now I think it's safe to say let's go ahead and put it on E85. There's actually 3 major components that you'll need, so let me show you what you'll need. So the first thing that you're gonna need is a new fuel pump. I opted to get a AEM drop-in 340 liter per hour fuel pump. I believe the part number is right here for my VQ boys. And the reason why I went with AEM as opposed to any other brand out there is because you don't need to do any wiring. This is a complete drop-in fuel pump. Everything plugs in how it should. Other fuel pumps out there, you do have to kind of rewire things, and I didn't want to do that and kind of go through the hassle of that, so I opted for this one. AEM is a really good brand. They've been around for a very, very long time, so I trust their products and everything that they have. So that's what I did. So that's the first thing. You're gonna need a fuel pump. Number 2, you're gonna need injectors. And this is because the stock VQ injectors, I don't even know what size they are, but A, they're not compatible for E85, and B, you're more than likely gonna be making more power, so you need something that's a higher CC. This is Injector Dynamic. Actually, in the box, I'm gonna be using Fuel Injector Clinic 1200 cc. So these injectors are actually the ones that came out of the 370Z when it was a turbo VQ. So that's what you're gonna need, bigger injectors. It doesn't really necessarily matter about the size, kind of depends about your power goals, you know, if the car's NA, turbo, whatever it is. But for me, I'm gonna be running 1200 cc. The last thing that you're gonna need is actually your tuning software. So lucky for me, my car, this 2008 Nissan 350Z Nismo, is already tuned on UpRev, so I don't have to choose any other software. You do need a cable with that, so this is what I have right here, just basically a cable that goes to the OBD2 port on the car, and the other side is gonna go to your laptop. If you have a 370Z or a G37, you more than likely would wanna use EcuTech. It's a newer software, has a lot more, you know, functionalities and features, stuff like that. You can monitor stuff from your phone. It's really cool. Typically for the 350Z and G35, people usually go with the UpRev, but recently they actually came out with EcuTech for these cars. So I actually would highly suggest EcuTech for both platforms. But again, in my case, my car is already tuned. There's really no reason for me to upgrade to EcuTech. And then also, since we are gonna be messing with the fuel pump, you do wanna go ahead and get a new O-ring. This one, I believe, is from Z1 Motorsports. It's their upgraded O-ring, so it's just a bit thicker than the OEM spec. So you do want to use that. That way you don't have any leaks and stuff like that from the O-ring. So there you have it, guys. You have the 3 components that you need. Your tuning software, whether it's EcuTech or UpRev for the VQs. Your injectors, again, kind of doesn't really matter on the size. A lot of people do use like GTR injectors just because they're an OEM drop-in, but again, you can use anything that you like. So I have my 1200 cc FICs, Fuel Injector Clinic, and your fuel pump. So I went with an AEM 340 fuel pump. And let me give you the part numbers for each of these. This is the fuel pump. Like I said, I'm not using the Injector Dynamics, but I will give you these because these do fit. The ID 1050X, which is what these are technically from this box that are in my 370Z, these will fit, so you can use those. You do need adapters though, so make sure you get that, and your O-ring for your fuel pump. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop the hood and let's start on the injectors, just because it's probably the easiest thing to do. Once you get the hood popped, the first thing you're gonna wanna do if you have a Nismo or even I believe just a regular HR, they have these covers. You wanna go ahead and just take all the bolts off and pull these covers off so you can get to the intake manifold. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And just so you guys know, everything is a 10mm, so pretty easy. Like to remove this second valve cover, you need to take off the oil fill cap. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing right now. you want to make sure your engine is not hot while you're doing this because yeah, you can burn your hands by the bolts. I actually just got home not too long ago and I'm just starting this, so everything is completely hot. Once you guys have the covers off, this is what it looks like, just for people who don't know. But this is actually the intake manifold right here, this plastic little waffle maker looking thing. And what we want to do is we want to actually disconnect not necessarily the throttle bodies, but just like the intake pipe, kind of pull that off. Same thing on this side. And basically we're gonna take all these bolts off on the intake manifold and just kind of bring this thing up because our injectors are actually running under there. And in my case, I actually might as well go ahead and take off this strut bar just because it is in the way. Once you have everything off, what I like to do, go ahead and just screw your screws into the spots that they came out of. That way, you know, nothing gets lost. You don't have to try to keep track of anything. You know, just put everything literally back where it came from. And that way when you put it back together, you know where the bolts came out of and everything, you know. So now that we have everything off, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect these the intakes right here from the throttle body on both sides. Once we do that, we're then gonna take off all these tins right here that are holding the intake manifold down, and then we're just actually gonna pull this up. You don't have to really go crazy, but just enough to where, you know, you can move it and it pops off. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is now off right now. These intake manifold bolts are actually 12s, just so you guys know. All right, so slight change of plans. What I actually ended up doing, I ended up taking the throttle bodies off from the intake manifold, and that actually gave me a lot more room, as well as taking both of the intakes off. But once you do that, you can basically get this thing off. There's a couple hoses that you have to take off, so just take your time, don't break anything. And yeah, you just want to put some paper towels in the cylinder kind of areas, I guess, where the intake manifold would go. That way no dust, dirt kind of thing gets in there. And then basically you have the injectors. So you have 3 on each side. And when I get back from the store, because as you can see, Tiana's over there waiting for me, we're gonna go ahead and finish this thing up. So this shouldn't take us long. It's a pretty easy process. Just I guess it's just really time consuming. So I'll pick up the camera when I get home. And just like that, we are back home, guys. So it's pretty nice. We went out for a little bit and engine cooled down, so that's good. But now we're gonna go ahead and pull off this fuel rail. And to do that, it's actually pretty simple. You have 2 12mm bolts right here in the front. So there's one there. There's another one right there. And then in the back of the rail, you should have one right here and then one on the other side of that. And then this fuel rail with the injectors is gonna kind of like come up. For those who don't know, this is what the OEM HR injectors look like. They're green. I actually had to Google it because I was like, dude, are these like already E85 compatible or something? But no, that's just the color that Nissan wanted to use, I guess. So 3 from the left side, 3 from the right side, and then this is what a aftermarket one. So this is a 1200cc. You should be able to see it on here somewhere. Yeah, it says 1200cc. So yep, they're the same exact style, EV14 plug, and I believe they're 14mm in diameter. Yeah, 48 by 14. So yep, that's the size that you need. So these will drop in. The only thing that you want to do, you want to make sure that you put some type of lubricant on the O-rings. That way when they seal in there, they don't get crushed or anything like that, because that's how you have leaks. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I usually take either like some Vaseline or some Carmax and just put it on the top ring, the bottom one, and then I'll go ahead and put them in there. So let's go ahead and do that. It's actually pretty crazy too, because you can actually see the size difference. So the one on the left is the OEM one, the one on the right is the new one. And like, look at how bigger the diameter is. Pretty crazy. We finally have all the injectors in, have all the clips in, everything's pinned down. I went ahead and primed the car twice just to kind of make sure there wasn't any fuel spraying anywhere. And yeah, we don't have any fuel spraying anywhere, so we should be good to go. So now I'm gonna pretty much start the reverse process of putting the intake manifold back on, connecting all these like vacuum lines and just miscellaneous hoses and stuff back to it. And yeah, this project is complete. And then tomorrow we will start on the fuel pump. looks like we never even started. So your engine bay should look like this, your hands should look like this, and your garage should end like this. So that's how you know you did a good job. But yeah, we plugged everything up, got everything routed the same way that it came off, and literally looks like nothing happened. Super happy about that. I'm super excited to run those injectors because they will be a great asset to boost. But now we need to tackle the fuel pump, so I will catch you guys in the next clip.
The next day.
Welcome back to day 2, guys, and today, as you know, we will be tackling the fuel pump. So in order to do that, we need to go ahead and get inside this car. The fuel pump is located on the passenger side rear, so there's no like back seat or anything. It's just kind of like on that board in the back. So let me open the door and I'll show you where we need to go. So since I'm super limited with space right here, ideally you would want to go through the passenger side, but for me, in my scenario, I'm actually going to go onto the driver's side over here. And once you're in here, you're gonna wanna put this passenger seat down and scoot it all the way forward. And there's a cubby back here. I know it's super dark right now. I'll try to roll the windows down or something. But basically, you're gonna pop this cubby all the way down, and we need to get right in here. So let me get some light in here so you guys can see. Okay, now that we have some light in the car, coming in again just to kind of show you where this is. We're gonna be coming right over here and behind this cover here. This is where the fuel pump is, so we want to take this little sheet out, and it is right underneath this little area right here. So let me go ahead and get a flat head and kind of pop this up. Now that we got both pieces up, there is kind of like a little, I guess like sound deadening piece. We're just gonna try to do our best to fold this back or push it back. That is, and just get it out the way, and it exposes your fuel pump area. So in here, I don't know if you guys can see, but basically you have 4 kind of like screws or whatever. You're just gonna twist it to the left or twist it one way to kind of get it to have this pop up. So that's what we're gonna tackle right now. Once you have everything twisted out of the way, this little plate comes up and you have a connector right there on the left and your fuel line on the right. So you want to go ahead and disconnect those and then take off all of these. I believe they are 8 or either 7mm bolts right here. So after you've made your mess in the car, this is what you're left with. So basically the fuel pump is in the car just like that, with this over top of it. So you have to take all these bolts off. Again, they are 8mm bolts, so I'm gonna put this to the side. You're gonna need that. Again, we have a new O-ring that we're gonna be using. This is gonna replace the one that was previously on the car, so we're gonna put this to the side. And yeah, you're left with the fuel pump assembly. So now we need to disassemble this to get to the actual fuel pump. It's kind of like right here inside. So the first thing that we're gonna wanna do, this may have a lot of fuel in it, so just kind of be prepared for that. But we're gonna take off this, I don't even know what this is. I think it's maybe the leveler sensor or something like that. But we're gonna kind of take this out of its place and just pop all this out, unclip these things, and unclip that as well. And then this casing will come off. So let me do that now. As you can see, I already popped everything out. This is kind of one assembly by itself, so we're gonna put this to the side here. This is where our fuel pump is. As you guys can see, we need to take this little basket out, so you can just kind of pop these little tabs out here. And once you do that, it'll kind of release this mechanism, I guess locking mechanism for the fuel pump. Put that to the side, and then theoretically, we need to unclip it, which I don't know how I'm gonna do, but we need to unclip it. There we go. And then this should, keyword should, just come out. And there we are. So this is the factory fuel pump. Super small with the little filter here. So now let's go ahead and pull out our new one so I can compare the two. So this is what our new fuel pump is gonna look like. They are very similar in size, as you guys can see. And what's really cool about this fuel pump, as I mentioned before previously, is as you can see the connectors are the same. And this is huge because we don't need to do any rewiring. All we need to do is just put everything technically back together with this fuel pump and everything will work. So that was one of the huge benefits. It's not really super hard to rewire a fuel pump as far as the plugs. There's only 2 wires, but you know, just less hassle, less things to do, less things to worry about. So super excited for that. So let's go ahead and get this new unit in, baby. One of the first pieces of the puzzle, we need to put a filter on this. We're no longer going to be utilizing the OEM one. We're going to be utilizing the one that came in the kit. So this is what it looks like. Let's go ahead and get this thing out the package here. This is actually, pop this cap off right here. This goes on the bottom side, and as you can see, there's indentations at where it goes. Pretty self-explanatory, just kind of pop it on, and there should be a retaining clip that we may have to grab off of the old one here. This is what the little retaining clip goes. It just basically goes on the top side of this once you put this on. So this is what we need. I'm gonna put this to the side, but I forgot, in order for this fuel pump to fit in the basket and this clip to work, we actually need to meal down or kind of Dremel down all of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. So actually, instead of drilling it, I use something like this. You know, you can some like cut-offs, I guess, and I pretty much cut off all of the connection points that it had. So I think that should be close enough. I know it's not all the way flat, but if I need to go any flatter, I can Dremel it. But yeah, I just chose this for right now. So let's go ahead and see how this fits up now. Finally got the filter on with that stupid retaining clip. Very tricky to get on, but finally got it on. So fuel pump is pretty much done. Went ahead and pulled the other red cap off of the top here, and they provided one other piece that you need to install. It's like a new, I don't know, new grommet that goes on here, so you can just slide this on until it stops all the way. Your fuel pump is done. So now we're just gonna pretty much start the reversal process, and this thing can only go one way, so that this big hole is gonna go like in that. So we're gonna just basically shove that in there, try to line it up as best as we can. There we go. I heard it click in. Perfect. That's sticking out far enough for me to clip this in. I'm gonna wait to do that first though. So we got that. Now we need to go ahead and put this retaining clipper, figure out how this went on again. All right guys, I finally have this stupid clip on with the fuel pump in here, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I hope I never have to do this again, because that was probably the most stressful thing you have to do. So those little corner pieces on this fuel pump, you do have to cut off, but you also have to really Dremel this thing all the way down. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's still kind of like barely making it. So I had to literally use all of my force to get this thing to clip on there. So we're good now. Now I can finally clip in this fuel pump, put the wires back to where they go, and go ahead and drop this fuel pump back in here, man. There is one other thing that we do need to do, and then we can finally put everything back in the car. There is a piece on here. I believe it is this thing right here. See if I can get this thing out. So this is the piece that I'm talking about. A little small piece. It goes kind of right here at the bottom, kind of clips right in there. So what you need to do, this little outlet right here, you need to grab a 7/64 drill bit and need to drill out this hole. The only thing is you want to make sure and be careful that you don't go all the way through. You want to just kind of look in here and only make sure it kind of goes about halfway. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just take your time, be very, very careful. And also, please note that there is an O-ring on here that you do need to utilize. This is what the piece should look like after. So I just drilled it out. You can see how wide the hole is now. So I'm gonna add this O-ring over it again. And then we're just gonna basically reinstall everything. I won't really bore you guys with that. It's just a reversal process of what we already did. I'll catch you guys once it's kind of all back in the car. Boy, oh boy, was that a mission, but I can successfully say we finished. And also really quick, if you guys don't have one of these or know what this is, let me get the box. This is like a, it's like a siphon, I guess, kind of thing, to where pretty much you can, it says fuel transfer pump, but basically you can suck out gas from something. I know in this picture they have like a gas can, so you can screw it onto that. But in my case, I actually had a lot of fuel in the tank, 91 that is, so I had to put this in the tank, which this is like the mechanism that sucks it, no diddy, and pretty much it comes out on this side, so this would go to wherever you're trying to fill. So in my case, I filled my jug right there and put it in my girlfriend's car. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm glad I had that and glad this thing still works. You kind of hear the little blades in there. and whatnot. But yeah, this is a really, really cool piece. But on a side note, this is the old O-ring, by the way. Everything works. I went ahead and tested it, primed the car. Everything works. I just need to go ahead and get some E85. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the garage right now, and we're gonna head out and get some E85, and I will catch you guys back when we are ready to tune. Guys, our first E85 fill up, bro. Sheesh, this is crazy, man. Super hype, man. Super hype. Let's go. Oh, this is always hard though. This thing is heavy as heck. Bro, it smells so freaking good. Love it. All right, guys, as you can see, we are erasing our old tune and putting on the new tune right now. So this is kind of like a ballpark, the tuner said, so we're gonna see if the car starts. But yeah, once this finishes, we will try to give it a go and see how it does. All right, guys, the reflash is complete. Let's try to give it a start. Let's see. Update, guys, we're on the tune number 2. Try to see if this one will work out. I'll update you guys in a bit. So you guys will not believe what happened. So while I let that thing idle for a little bit, basically what happened is when we reflashed the car, it actually set off the NATS system. And if you guys don't know what that is, that stands for Nissan Anti-Theft System. What that means is basically it kind of goes into this like anti-theft mode where you cannot start the car no matter what. The install was done completely correct. It's just basically it went into that like limp mode type of stage. So what I did, I actually got a locksmith to come out here and reprogram both of my keys to the car. And now as you hear, the car starts, it runs, it idles. I am gonna go drive it right now because my tuner wants me to kind of get some logs and stuff like that for him and his data to make sure that the car is running safely and efficiently. But yeah, how stupid is that? So it wasn't the tuner, it wasn't any of the revisions, it was literally the NATS system. Pretty crazy, right? I am super excited that this car is on E85 though, and it smells absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But he did tell me that the car may not run the best right now because technically this is the first revision. So we need to kind of drive the car. I am sending him a log right now as we speak. And yeah, we'll just kind of make revisions throughout the day. But on that note, guys, I think I am going to end this video because we did accomplish our goal in turning this car and converting it to E85. So if you guys enjoyed this content, please leave a like for me, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. We're out.